Hello guys! Today the video is about my Caapid application process, interview and my Caapid admission story. So take a cup of tea and get cozy because it might be long. I started applying to the dental schools in mid-April and I continued to apply till I think mid-summer. My first rejection came from Alabama. Ironically, I applied to the Alabama in the last day, and I don't know if it's a coincidence, but that was my first rejection, which came on June 29th. First interview invitation I received on July 6th. It was from University of Minnesota UMN, an interview invitation to record a Kira assessment. I had no idea what was Kira assessment. So turned out it was like questions similar to introduce yourself. What was the biggest challenge in your life or in your career? How did you overcome it? Something similar like that. And then I didn't hear anything from any school for the whole month. In August, I received my first rejections from UCSF, from Michigan, and from Nebraska. Nebraska was heartbreaking for me because it was my school number one, my choice number one, because I was a resident of Nebraska, and of course I wanted to stay with my family in my state. However, I don't know if it was coincidentally or not, I received the rejection of Nebraska came on my birthday. I felt like someone is making a joke from me. Ha ha ha, your birthday wish didn't come true. At that point, I started to feel a little bit depressed, and I decided to reflect on my application and get ready for the next cycle. I literally threw away my personal statement and I started a completely new one from scratch, from the blank page, and I was working hard every day on it, and that's all I could have done at that point. However, the lucky streak started on September 27, when I received the invitation to the SIU-SDM for the online interview. And 6 days later, I got another interview invitation from USC, also online. I felt like I received a decent chance to get accepted, and I was holding tight for this. The online interview with SIU was like 12 minutes. I was a little worried that it was so short. However, interviewers were very nice to me, and it is Midwest, so kind of similar to Nebraska. I felt the same vibe. They asked me the same common questions, like introduce yourself. It was similar kind of to Kira assessment, just online. And what was your strength? What is your weakness? Like all these kind of set of questions that that are common. In about 10 days, I received the invitation for in-person interview and bench test from SIU. I was so happy, and about this, it consisted from a 30 minutes interview with the admission committee, and then it was supposed to be tour, lunch, and 3.5 hours bench test. Well, I decided to drive there on my car. It was like 7 hours drive, and the school is located in a small town, Alton, in Illinois, which is in the border with Missouri, very close to St. Louis. It's about like 30 minutes away from St. Louis. I stayed in a small hotel where I met another candidate, and we kind of made friends, and both were very excited, and we ended up talking all evening about upcoming interview and just sharing our past interviews experience with other schools. So interview was on October 18. They had 3 batches total, and they invited 3 batches total, and we were the last batch. So before, they already had interviews, I think, I don't know, in September, maybe in August, and our batch was last in October. I liked the school so much. Everyone was so nice to me, and everyone was very welcoming and friendly. I could tell that the admission committee, they did everything to create this comfortable atmosphere, so you relax and you present yourself in your best way. So basically, they're trying to make everything so friendly that you just be yourself, and you can be the best version of yourself. and I was very grateful for this. Kind of made it less stressful. And my interview was second. I mean, like, it was one person ahead of me, and then it was my turn. There were 3 faculties. Questions were similar to the questions online and Kira Assessment. And for example, they asked me like, what would you do if you had a limited amount of money and time? I felt like they tried to mix like serious questions with a little bit kind of fun, easy questions to keep everything kind of easy and comfortable for the applicant, for the candidate. After the interview, we had a tour. It was a very cold day, so we had a tour on a car. Because the school is, it's kind of interesting concept how the school is built. It's built like, it has separate buildings where you're supposed to walk in between buildings. It reminded me the open mall. I don't know, guys, if you know, like, have you been in open mall where you have to walk between kind of shops? That's kind of the same concept. The funniest part about this was that faculties, they have their offices in houses. Like, you know, like, it's not like corridor where you have multiple doors and there is a name on each door with the which is the faculty's offices. No, it's like multiple big houses kind of there around the school, and each house is someone's faculty office. That was so unique, and I loved it so much. It's like I never saw such in my life. The other fun part was that we got to see the monument of the tallest guy in the world, Robert Wadlow. I'll insert picture here so you can see him. That was so cool. Next was lunch. We were invited to the small taco place. It's kind of close to the school too. During the lunch, we got to meet with the current students. I was very happy to ask them some questions that kind of more personal about how they found the housing, how can they manage family together with the program, like, you know, like some questions that you would kind of not ask the admission committee. And I tried to do my best not to be quiet, to ask as many questions as I can, to make friends with them, because this was a part of our interview. I knew that too, right? I tried not to sit and eat taco. I tried to connect with them and engage into the conversation. And they were amazing. They were so kind of helpful, nice, and all they wanted to answer your questions. So it went very well. They were very welcoming. I got along with everyone very well, and I felt kind of, it was like, you know, it was very good first impression. The next 3.5 hours was the bench test. There were 3 tasks, and we were provided with all kinds of tools, which is nice too, because SIU is one of the schools where you cannot bring your own bench test instruments, but they provide you with the pictures and the list of procedures, what will be on a test, so you can prepare and know ahead everything. And if you needed any other instrument that was not on a tray, they would have given that to you too, you just needed to ask. So again, everyone was so welcoming and friendly that they just created a very comfortable atmosphere for you. They basically provide you with everything to succeed. After finishing, I drove all the way home. I decided not to stay in a hotel another night. I just wanted to see my family. And 2 days later, I received my acceptance. I was so happy and relieved. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my interview and Caapid admission story. Let me know if you have any questions. See you soon, guys. Bye.